Welcome to my Monday musings. I hope you had a good weekend. And before I get started with today's video, I just want to mention for anybody who is a member, if you've hit the join button below and signed up as a supporter or anything above, what I'm going to be doing is, for the next few months, I am going to be doing a reading of Aleister Crowley's 8 lectures on yoga. It's something I want to reread again. I reread it many times in the past, but it's something I want to go through again. So I thought it would be a good idea to do that for my supporters. If you are not a supporter and you're not a member, just hit the join button below. It's $2.99 a month. And I do something once a month for the supporters. Alright, so just look out for that anyway. I thought that would be, because I'm going to be reading through it again, I thought it might be a good idea to actually record an audio of it. Alright, so today's topic, I actually got a comment from Frank. He said, after having great success in magic and demon workings, I'm having a hard time connecting with anything now. Things have gotten chaotic in my life and I'm very sleep deprived. Could this affect my workings? This is something that a lot of people battle with, so I wanted to bring extra focus to it on this Monday musing video. Joanne also commented on that with some good advice, and said you should get some rest, because sleep deprivation can be a very bad thing, and said that, basically mentioned that practicing magic does take energy, and therefore if you're not sleeping you don't have the energy to actually do what you need to do. So there's a few things we need to consider with this type of scenario. Firstly, go and get medical advice. Go to your GP, find out if there's anything that's, try and figure out if there's anything in your environment which is causing that sleep deprivation. In this case, it is probably due to stress. You've said your life has gotten chaotic, so it's probably stress related, and stress causes sleep deprivation. Sleep deprivation causes more stress, and the cycle just continues. So it might be a good idea to go and get some medical attention. Just go to your GP, find out what they can help you with, and just try and get some sleep, basically, and try and rest, relax, rejuvenate. It's that rejuvenation that you need. Because things have gotten chaotic, as I said, it's going to be this constant cycle, and that chaos and that stress, the sleep deprivation, it can not only affect your sleep, it can affect your day-to-day life, and therefore it can affect your spiritual life, your normal mundane life, all of it. It just affects everything. Now, something else which is quite interesting here and needs to be taken into consideration is sleep deprivation is often considered to be a method of trance induction. You can bring yourself to a point of exhaustion through sleep deprivation or through exercise, whichever method, but we are specifically talking about sleep deprivation here. You can use sleep deprivation to get yourself into a trance state and get yourself into a liminal state, and it's a very, very effective method. It can be very difficult, it can be very taxing on the body itself, so you need a lot of rest afterwards. But you have to just bear in mind and consider that this is not something which you can use for that method, for inducing trance. This type of sleep deprivation is stress related. The chaos in your life is causing stress, okay? And I wanted to mention this because somebody who is in the same situation may be thinking, well, I can use this to my advantage. You probably can't. It's the sleep deprivation caused by stress is very different to controlled sleep deprivation, where you have decided and made a decision to deprive yourself of sleep in order to achieve a particular goal, which in this case would be trance induction, bringing yourself into a liminal state. okay, where you can then do whatever work you want to do. That's a controlled situation. This is not controlled. This is chaos. This is stress. And that's what's causing the sleep deprivation, and then the sleep deprivation causes more stress, etc., etc., etc. So, you know, bear that in mind. If you are in a situation where you are experiencing stress and it's causing sleep deprivation, don't think that you can necessarily use that to your advantage for your magic. Okay, rather go and get help, and try and regulate your sleep. Once your sleep is properly regulated and back to normal, then you can go and experiment with those methods of trance induction. Something else which you may want to consider is Dark Night of the Soul. We did do a live discussion of Dark Night of the Soul on Into the Wildwood, so I'm just going to link to that video above so you can go check that out. It was a very, very good discussion about Dark Night of the Soul, so I don't want to repeat everything here. There's a lot of information in there about that. But briefly, Dark Night of the Soul is a period where you have kind of reached a point in your magical progress where things just don't seem to be working anymore. You kind of hit a wall, hit a barrier. Everything just seems out of whack. You kind of sit there wondering why you're doing any of this anymore, because it's just a load of bullshit. And you question yourself, and you go through this whole, it can be frustrating, it can bring anger, it can bring chaos, because you're trying to fight against something which isn't working, and it can bring depression. There's a big difference between that and clinical depression, or some kind of depression which should be treated. This is hitting a brick wall, getting frustrated with everything, and just throwing in the towel type of thing. So go and check out that video. There's a lot of information in there regarding Dark Night of the Soul, and a very good discussion. What you may also find is that your life has been rearranged. I've mentioned this in the past. When you start working with spirits, specifically going in that avenue where you are asking spirits to help you in your life type of thing, whether that's demons, whether it's angels, whether it's gods and goddesses, whatever it is, spirits, higher intelligences, divine intelligences, what you'll probably find is you make a connection with a spirit or a number of spirits, and that connection becomes very intimate. It becomes a very personal relationship with them, and a very intimate relationship with them. What they want to see happen in your life is for your life to become the best it can possibly be. And now, when we are just plodding along in our lives, we pick up toxic people, we pick up toxic jobs, we pick up toxic situations, we pick up all of these things that we shouldn't really have in our life. They're not allowing progress in our life, and we keep with it. We just keep going with it because, you know, it's the norm. We become used to it, and if we were to reject those things, it would create a lot of disruption in our lives. It would create a lot of difficulties, changes that we don't want. So, you know, we just carry on with those things. What you'll often find is that when you start working with spirits, then things change, things get rearranged. Toxic people get taken out of your life. Toxic situations get taken out of your life because they are toxic. They should not be in your life, and the reason they shouldn't be in your life because then it's not allowing you to move forward, to progress. All it's doing, these people, these situations, these jobs, these whatever it is that is bad for you, is keeping you in a stagnant state. So in order for you to become better, to progress, to advance, to enhance your own abilities, to enhance your own self, then those things, those barriers, those things which are toxic, which are holding you back, need to be removed so that you can move forward. It's a bit like road opening. So when you start working with spirits, this is sometimes what happens. It doesn't always happen, and sometimes you don't have those severe situations or people or things in your life that need to be removed. Therefore, those changes can be quite subtle and you don't even notice them. There are instances, I've had it myself, where your whole life just gets rearranged, and it can become chaotic. So you have some success, and then all of a sudden you find that everything's just starting to be rearranged and you're not quite sure what's happening. I did make a video about this quite a while back, so I will link that also at the top of this video. But basically everything just changes, everything just shifts, and it does it in order for things to become better, for things to advance the way they should be advancing, to become the better you or the best you can possibly be. And what usually happens in those circumstances is things start changing. We do not like change. We do not want change in our lives, especially when it's quite severe, when it creates this type of chaos in your life. We just don't want it. So we fight against it. We try to stop it. We try to prevent it. We try to hold on to these toxic things because we're so used to them. And what we're used to, we kind of want to keep in our lives, but we shouldn't. So what might help? I don't know you personally. I don't know what's going on personally and directly. I would only be able to know that if I could sit down and talk with you over a long period of time, as a psychologist may do. So this is only a suggestion. I do strongly suggest going to get the medical help you need. It will be the best option you can possibly get or have. But what I would suggest is to just let go. Allow these changes to happen, and then when you're going through it, it's crap. It is absolute crap. You don't want it. You just want it all to go away, and you start fighting against it, as I said. But just allow it to happen. See the changes take place, and know that on the other side, things are going to get better. It's just that period you go through where things have to change that it's just terrible. It's awful. But a lot of people go through this type of thing, so that's why I wanted to focus on this specific thing today. So the advice is, first, go and get medical attention, go and get medical advice, go to your GP, go to your psychologist, whatever that looks like, and try and get things regulated in your life so that you can manage it a lot easier. If you're sleep deprived and things are chaotic and things are stressful, it becomes more difficult to manage things, to actually see things. From that perspective, I would also suggest meditation. Make sure you've got a daily meditation practice. You are also doing things like banishing rites, all of the things which would elevate your frequency. Okay, so get your medical advice, do daily practices which are elevating your frequency so that you're not pulling yourself down into the sludge all the time. You're bringing yourself out of it and you're elevating your frequency. It also stops astral parasites, etc., etc. Then just try and allow the changes to happen. Allow the things that are taking place to take place. Go through it. Go through, if it's a dark night of the soul, go through the dark night of the soul. Know that it's a dark night of the soul. So it's very important to get that medical advice, to try and regulate that sleep deprivation, bring the sleep back into your life so that you can get the rest and rejuvenation that you need in order to deal with it. So yeah, it is a difficult time to go through. It is a difficult thing to go through. But you're not the only one who has gone through it, so no, you're not alone. And reach out to people who can help you with these things, who have gone through the same things, and reach out to them, talk to them, The experience might not be exactly the same, but they probably have experienced something similar, and they may not be able to give you advice, because quite often it's something that you have to go through personally and get through yourself. So they may not be able to actually give you proper advice, but as long as you've got somebody there that can listen to you, you can bounce off ideas, and can possibly help you that way. But seek out people that can do that for you, can help you through the situation. All right. So I think that really covers that. Anyway, definitely go check out that Dark Night of the Soul live that we did a few weeks back now. It was very informative. Okay, so I will see you next week, and have a good one for now. Cheers. Bye bye.